Hello, and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Jason of Artspeak Creative. How's it going, Jason?
I'm well, thank you, Shiv, for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason, I'm really glad to have you on here, and B, I'd really love to just start this off with learning a little bit more about your background and a little bit more about Artspeak Creative.
Yeah, absolutely. I accidentally started Artspeak Creative, so it was not what I immediately set out to do. I was actually leading a nonprofit, and we were pretty good at reaching people. I was also working for a marketing company, and I had sold a real big Microsoft partner landing page website, and then the company I work for asked me, "Do you know anybody who can build that website?" And I said, I just promised that you could build that website. So then they were like, "Hey, yeah, we can, but do you know anybody?" And so then they ended up hiring my best friend. And so then we were there for about 6 months, learned a lot from them. And then we were like, man, what if we could do this? And so that was 10 years ago. The two of us stepped out from that agency. We still have a really good mutual referral relationship there. And but the two of us stepped out 10 years ago this last summer and started what is Artspeak Creative today, really wanting to help life changers. So we're looking for people who the bottom line isn't just the bottom line. They're really wanting to help people. People first is one of our core values, but it's also one of the lenses we look through when we're like trying to figure out if we're a good fit for an organization.
So, how do you suss that out? Like when you're talking to a potential client of yours and you want to figure out if they're a people first organization, what types of questions are you asking, or what are you looking for to see that you guys are aligned?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think at first when you're starting any business, especially an agency, you're like, yes, we do that. Yes, we do that. Can we do that? But you're wanting to say yes to a lot, which creates a lot of chaos. Once you get a few years even in, and really the quicker you can do this is narrowing your niche, narrowing your audience, narrowing, finding the right fit. Those are the more profitable, the more enjoyable, the more likely it's going to be a word of mouth and then even transfer to more clients if you can find that. But we're listening, asking questions. Do they get it? Do they resonate with some of our core values? Are they saying back? They also have to value us. They have to value what they're doing. We're not the cheapest option in town, but we doing to be the best in the world at helping life changers reach more people. So they have to understand there's a value to this. If they're looking, hey, I need a logo and a billboard. I was like, those are tools. What's your name? My name's Jason. Let's talk. Who are you trying to reach? And what's the value you're trying to bring to people? So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
wow. That's really interesting. And you mentioned something there. You said life changers. And we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about how you guys define this and how you identify these people, but what like unique strategies are you employing to amplify their impact?
Oh, great question. So we do like really our main four core offerings are consulting, branding, websites, and ongoing marketing support. And branding for us has a depth to it that we enjoy the deep end of the pool,
Mhm.
right? So we don't apologize for that. We educate on it. We're nerds for that. We think words create worlds.
Mhm.
And if you study sociology, like language and culture are almost synonyms, right? So we think let's get the words and what we want. So that's the foundational cornerstone for really the brand that we would build. So before we just jump to logos and colors and fonts and textures, we can help you get all that. But what's going to inform that is the words. Who are you trying to reach? What is the overlapping good that you both want? Who you are and what they I can draw you a quick picture if you're
Sure.
interested, but
Yeah.
this is really the paradigm for us. If you've ever heard communication is a two-way street,
Mhm.
it's this bottom axis of this triangle. We call it healthy communication triangle, right? Us and them. We're trying to communicate to them. There's always a breakdown in communication. Having another breakdown, driving me insane. That's a Led Zeppelin quote. I probably dated myself there, but we call that the reputation gap. What do they think about us?
Mhm.
That's gonna form that changes the meaning of a word, right?
Yeah.
Trust us. Does that mean depends on the reputation you have? But we're never usually communicating just to communicate. We're usually calling people up somewhere. right? Click the link, buy the thing, join me. Or if it's my wife and I talking to the teenagers in our house that share our DNA, that are totally different than us, then there's a reputation gap for sure. But we're usually like calling them up somewhere. We call it good. Clean your room. Let's go out. Join me at. Buy the thing. Again, we say it's good, but they're not so sure because the reputation. And the truth is, there's a gap between them and the good that we want to create. We call that the fear gap, right? That what they fear that we're not telling the truth. They're not so sure about the reputation. The
Yeah.
truth is we have a gap between us and the good that we want to bring to the world. And
Mhm.
that's we call that a vision gap. And there's if you've worked with any organizations long enough, you realize there's quite a few that don't even can't articulate the good that they want to execute.
Yeah.
And at the top here would be two overlapping circles, right? This is what they care about and dream on and the
Mhm.
good that they want to bring. This is us and whatever our organization and the good that we want to bring to the world. Your messaging and marketing has to live right here.
Mhm.
There might even be another circle at the top. I won't draw it out of fear of being labeled part of the Illuminati or something, but that would be like maybe other voices, other agency, other people speaking the same thing to them.
Yeah.
You want to get out of where all three of those might overlap because that would be like generic zone, but you want to, so we really want to help an audience. We're nerds for that. Every axis of this
Mhm.
we would write into words. Like it turns
Wow.
into a 13 to 15 page messaging blueprint. And this isn't just a commercial for like our branding process, but that becomes cornerstone for our consulting.
Mhm.
And when you get those words, you put it into a story that's about them and not about you. You
Mhm.
boil it down to value propositions and even like aesthetic pulse words that you want people to feel. Now you have a paradigm for creating art that speaks the same message that you wanted to communicate
Mhm.
other words. Everything else after you have that blueprint becomes more efficient and more effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. This randomly made me, I don't know, I just read this in a book the other day and it was like very transformative to me. Literally a couple days ago, this happened. I read your intentions will never be as good as your actions. And part of being an adult is just getting used to that. And that this, everything you just said here made me think of that, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. If you boil all this down to one word in my healthy communication, to me, that word would be empathy. Are we
Mm,
willing to do the hard work to think and feel like them so that we
yeah.
can lead them somewhere good? And I
Yeah.
think that becomes really powerful communication. That paradigm allows our team to create a brand, colors, marketing campaigns,
Uh,
seasonal brands, whatever. But it allows us to create it. And this is probably one of our differentiators is we want to design as you and not for you.
mm,
And so we have really talented artists and copywriters and web builders and all that. But I don't want to just, we're not like have a shelf full of websites and we're like, here's a cool new website. Maybe you don't need a cool new website. You might need a more effective one. You might need a better, and a lot of that does come down to the message that we're communicating. But if we don't know who we're talking to, then
mhm,
we're going to miss it often. And so that really becomes, it also becomes the paradigm, the cornerstone for us doing a lot of consulting. Because even once
mhm,
you have that, if you can align your marketing message with your internal leadership structure and your internal leadership message, so your core values actually speak to both your audience and your team,
mhm.
the way your core offerings and your processes that you serve others with also become like how you're organized internally, you end up creating a lot of momentum,
Yeah.
there's a lot more efficiency on your team and teamwork. So we end up speaking into for organizations not just, hey, here's a really great marketing message, but also are we aligned behind that marketing message? So not only can we fulfill it, it's just who we are.
Yeah, wow. And I think that's what's so important about what you guys do is a lot of times you see it with companies, they just get this tunnel vision because they're too close to the product, whether that's an external thing or an internal thing. And the value that you really provide, and because brand is a lot of times decided by either your employees or people that are your customers. And you guys coming in and bringing that outside perspective, I think, is the true value. And then obviously you have the skills to bring it up. But there's been lots of times where a client will say, "This is what we think our brand is," and then you can come in and say, "Actually, no, this is what your customer thinks your brand is."
Good. Yeah, and that's that reputation. What do they think about past, present, future? But I
Yes.
love what the way you're using brand is how we use it. It's in that it's more, I think Jeff Bezos said that it's the brand is what people think about when you're not around. It's not just a
Yeah.
cup or a logo.
Yeah.
So I think getting really intentional about what we're communicating to whom and why and and being able to really articulate the value that we bring to somebody, that's going to help increase everything.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for Artspeak Creative and how do you plan to support and continue supporting life changers in this ever-changing digital landscape?
Yeah, we've made several pivots already. We've gone 10 years, and that's a century in the
Yeah.
marketing world. And
Yes.
so, and we've grown from two creatives to about 42 creatives on our team right now. And so we've been able to, and those aren't like outsourced to anybody on the internet. We have those an actual team. We're very virtual. We're all over every time zone in North America. We've got creative in Canada. We've got creatives in Hawaii. And we've got, so we're real spread out, but we have definite team culture and meeting rhythms. That'd be a whole nother conversation on
Yeah.
how to lead an agency that's virtual.
Right.
We've been doing that the entire time and have enjoyed it. But I do think as we go forward, we want to help life changers reach more people, and there's an ever-changing landscape in how to do that. We've really leaned into the words and the world that it can create, the culture that you can create as a leader, both internally within your teams as well as in the relationships with your clients and helping them also. So we're looking at doing a lot more content this year and next year. We've done some throughout, but just training on how to be a better communicator. Because
Yeah.
that's right, whether you're talking about marketing or you're talking about marriage, like empathy works. And how do I become a better, the communication patterns work really well. So I'm not the guy to talk to. You probably are about, oh man, how do I boost this post better? And we have great people on our team that know how to do stuff like that. But how do I communicate? How do I
Yeah.
what you need, what I would say more than, and our team can make you a very flashy, crisp website that looks clean, looks up to date, but more than just a new thing that you need, I think you need it to be effective. You need it to be genuinely you
Mhm.
and speaking the language of the people that you are serving.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Yeah. And I love the focus on empathy and communication. Jason, this has been awesome. Where can
Yeah.
people learn more about you and where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, artspeakcreative.com is our website. You can connect with us there. You can even have a free consultation with one of my consulting team. You can go jasonbowman.net has links to my socials as well as, some of the coaching I do outside. Leading team. I just love connecting with leaders. So if anybody wants to connect, Jason Bowman on X and Jason Allen Bowman on Instagram. You'll see a lot of posts about my son's basketball journey on there. But yeah, just love helping people understand who they are and the value that they bring to the world, and then being able to articulate that.
I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for being on, Jason. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you.